Here's 30 tips to help you master creating AI videos using Google VEO 3. Whether you're a total beginner or an advanced user, I guarantee that you'll find something in this tutorial to help you level up your AI videos. Tip number 1. You can create these vlog-style videos of a talking character, such as a white yeti, simply by using the prompt self-camera angle shot from an extended arm. Then we need to fill in the rest of the details. So I added that it's a yeti with white fur holding up a fish. He's in an icy landscape. Below that, I also give it some dialogue for the character to say, like, "Welcome back to Yeti Adventures. Today we're learning how to go ice fishing." By the way, this is all done inside the text-to-video generator.
Welcome back to Yeti Adventures. And today we're learning how to go ice fishing.
Now, for a complete vlog video, we also need some different camera angles. So we can try a different prompt of holding up a vlog cam on a selfie stick. He is talking to the vlog cam.
I've been out here since sunrise. Just me, no internet trolls asking if I'm related to Bigfoot.
We can also use the camera angle in the prompt, shot from a vlog camera. This will give us a full wide angle perspective of the Yeti doing whatever activities he's doing. In this case, he's smashing a hole through an icy lake. Of course, we can use all sorts of different characters, for example, a stormtrooper in our vlogs.
Morning, Trooper Squad. Just polished the armor. Gotta keep that Imperial shine.
Tip number 2, create man-on-the-street style interviews simply by using the phrase man on the street. I just start my prompt with a man-on-the-street interview. Inside Gotham City, a young female reporter asks a young man what he thinks about Batman. The young man is unhappy with how many problems Batman causes.
What are your thoughts on Batman?
Honestly, he causes more problems than he solves. This city's a mess because of him.
Now, inside on prompts, we can also specifically tell each character the exact dialogue we want them to say. For this example, where I'm having a stormtrooper reporter interviewing a Sith, I specifically want a script for each character to say. For the stormtrooper reporter, I tell him to say, "Are the rumors about the war in the Outer Rim true?" And for the male Sith, I'll specifically tell him to say, "The Outer Rim is ripe for conquest. The Empire always expands."
Are the rumors about war in the Outer Rim true?
The Outer Rim is ripe for conquest. The Empire always expands.
It's important that you're clear in specifically what part of the dialogue is attributed to each character in the shot. Tip number 3, removing the subtitles. You've probably noticed that in the videos I've generated, there are subtitles at the bottom that pop up frequently. This is kind of a problem in Google VEO right now. I've seen different pieces of advice of how to get rid of the subtitles. For example, I've heard people say in the prompt, don't use quotation marks when describing what you want them to say. I've also heard people say add phrases like no subtitles to your prompts. But I've tried these all. None of them work consistently. You're frequently still going to get these subtitle captions at the bottom of your videos. There's a couple different ways of doing this, although none of them are ideal. So one option is you can go inside a video editor and crop out the part where the subtitles appear. So in this video, the subtitles appear at the bottom. I can zoom out, increase the size of the video, and then hide the part with the subtitles.
That Imperial shine. Remember, cleanliness is next to loyalty.
Another option is to use an AI subtitle remover. I tried a couple different ones. VMake has a decent one. So if we go and use the video subtitle remover, and let's go ahead and upload the video with the subtitles that we want to get rid of. And you can see these subtitle captions appearing at the bottom. It'll take a minute to process the video and clean up the subtitles for us. Now, if you're using the free version, you do get to preview a 5-second video.
Morning, Trooper Squad. Just polished the armor. Gotta keep that Imperial shine.
And you'll see that at the bottom, the subtitles have been cleanly removed. Now, if you're going to be using the free version, you might need to chop your video up into different parts to get the subtitles removed in all of it. But I just paid for whatever the subscription was. Tip number 4, you can add in accents for your characters when they're speaking. Adding in the accents isn't as simple as just running it into the prompt. You need to consider whether it's plausible in the environment for that character to have the accent. For example, if I try to generate a Star Wars character with a Hispanic accent, here's what it turns out to sound like.
Mercy is a lie the weak tell themselves. Power speaks.
that doesn't sound like the character has an accent at all. The reason is because inside a Star Wars movie, there's never really any characters with accents like this. However, if we change the environment, for example, a medieval monastery, we can easily introduce a British accent into there, since that's very plausible based on movies and films.
They don't just take gold, they take souls. Burn the churches, mock the cross, laugh as we scream.
The location of where you generate your video contributes to whether or not the character has an accent in the video or not. If I generate a video of a Brazilian man inside a store in New York City, he's just gonna sound like a regular American guy.
Good morning. Can I get a ham and cheese on a roll, toasted? And make it with a smile, like yours.
However, if I generate a video of a Brazilian man on a beach in Rio de Janeiro, listen to what this sounds like.
Quero uma tigela de açaí grande. Isso parece bom demais. Mal posso esperar por isso.
It gave him so much of an accent that it actually changed the language that he's speaking in. Tip number 5, you can control the tone of voice that the characters speak with. For example, I can ask for a Viking commander to aggressively shout and command his troops.
Warriors, to the monastery! Take it down!
We can also go the opposite way and generate a character that's nervous, stuttering, and unsure of himself.
The Vikings, they're coming. I saw them. Hundreds.
Now, when it comes to controlling the tone of voice, I found that this works much better if you don't have a specific script that you want your character to follow, and instead just describe the general idea of what they should be talking about. Here I've got this old man whispering about what it was like to fight back in the day.
Fighting alongside Lord Nobunaga, those were days of fire and steel. We carved a path through chaos.
Tip number 6, adding ambient sounds into the background. Here I got a woman at the beach in Brazil, and in the prompt I specifically told it to generate the sound of waves at the beach.
Oh, you guys are too funny. Come on, let's go for a swim.
This is another example of her walking through a forest with the sound of a creek running by. And here's an example of the Brazilian man again, except this time in the prompt, I specifically asked for there to be sounds of wind rustling and cars honking in the background.
Quero uma tigela de açaí, por favor.
Com bastante granola, hein?
By adding in these ambient sounds, you create a video that's more immersive. By the way, if there's any Brazilians watching, tell me down in the comments what this guy is saying. I'm curious to find out. Tip number 7, in addition to ambient sounds, you can also specifically prompt for the types of music that you want to hear in the background. You can prompt for suspenseful and thrilling music. We can also prompt for a more relaxed piano playing in the background. Be specific in exactly the instruments that you described. In this prompt, I specifically told her to be a guqin playing in the background, which is a traditional Chinese instrument. Not something that you'd usually expect an AI video to be able to generate. Tip number 8. Upscaling your videos to full HD resolution is free if you have a subscription to Google VEO 3. All you have to do is go to this download button and then select the upscaled version. And Veo 3 will go ahead and upscale the video from 720, which is what it generates the videos in, up to 1080p. This takes a couple minutes. Now, the upscaled video quality is okay. It's not great. It's not the best upscaler in the world. If you look at it closely, there's a little bit of graininess in the bamboo in the background. For example, her face also isn't that detailed. But it's cool that it's a bonus feature that we get inside Veo 3. Tip number 8. Use FlowTV to find inspiration for your prompts. Inside the Flow interface, we can go to Watch FlowTV up here at the top. And here, Google VEO 3 has a bunch of videos that's recommended to us. Now, below we can use Show Prompt, and it'll actually show us the exact prompt used to generate these videos. These were done using Google VEO 2. So it's not the most recent Google VEO 3 model, but you can still get inspiration from this. If we go to the grid view, we can see the full assortment of videos, but these are some pretty interesting looking videos. You can also flip through the different channels. And this is a really, really cool way to get inspiration for your prompts. Tip number 10. Can we make vertical videos inside Google VEO 3? I'm sure a lot of you Shorts creators are curious about this. If we look inside the VEO 3 prompting interface and scroll through the settings, it doesn't really look like there's a place for us to make vertical videos. But we can actually use the frames to video, which lets us attach a reference image to create the vertical videos. This is actually really, really cool. What I've done here is I've taken a originally vertical image of this character riding on a horse, and I actually rotated it 90 degrees so that now it's a full widescreen image. I'll upload this widescreen image that's rotated 90 degrees into Google VEO 3. So let's go to the image uploader, and we can upload that rotated vertical image of him. Let's put that in there. And then the prompt, just describe it roughly. He rides the horse. Now, if we generate this image, VEO 3 can actually animate a 90 degrees rotated image, believe it or not. So using this method, you can actually create good resolution vertical videos. All you have to do is rotate the images, generate the videos, and then rotate the videos back into a vertical video. I created a bunch of them for this character. So how do we get videos of a consistent character like I'm showing you here? Well, there's a couple of different methods to do it in VEO 3. I'll show you 4 different ways. Tip number 11, generating consistent characters using text to video. For this method, we're simply going to be using the text prompt to generate a consistent character. The key to this is we'll need a very, very detailed description of our character's appearance. As detailed as you can get, actually. In this case, I asked for a female warrior with pale skin and long white braided hair, braided into 2 thick plaits that hang over her shoulders. She wears a dark red cloak with loose white trousers and strapped leather gear around her waist. She carries a short, straight sword. So that's going to be the character description. Notice how I talked about the physical appearance, her hair, her skin, the clothing that she wears. And then below that, we can describe what's going on in that specific scene. So here it's snowing, and I want a close-up shot on her face as she quietly whispers about trying to find her sister again.
I will find my sister. I have to find her again.
Now, if I want to generate more videos of the same character, I need to start by pasting in the same exact character description I used earlier. Except this time I'll just describe the different scene I want her to appear in. She's climbing up the stairs to a dark tower, a look of intensity on her face, clenched teeth, it's cold and snowing. So it didn't follow the prompt exactly. She's not climbing up the stairs. She's kind of looks like she's actually coming down a well. But the character appearance stays fairly similar. Now, this isn't going to be a perfect method. There's going to be some inconsistencies from video to video. If you compare these 2 videos side by side, you'll see that the clothing isn't exactly the same. The facial structure is slightly different and her hair braid comes over a different shoulder. But the benefit of using text to video for your consistent characters is that it can use all the features of Google VEO 3, including making your character talk. But there are other methods to get consistent characters. Tip number 12. Using the green screen hack. This method came from Martin Nebelon. Make sure you go and check out his Twitter. But in this case, what we'll need is an image of our character with a green screen behind her. What we're going to do is actually go to frames to video. Let me get rid of this prompt. Then we'll upload in that image of our character with a green screen behind her. Then in the prompt, start it with instantly jump/cut to on frame 1. This is what's going to give us a consistent character. After that, just putting what you want to happen in the scene. She walks next to a huge white direwolf in an icy landscape. It is snowing. And if we take a look at some of the results I've gotten using this method, you'll see that the first frame starts with the character and the green screen behind her. If we go ahead and play this video, it'll cut to a new scene of that character, just like how we described it in the prompt. There are some other examples I made for her. I mean, the quality of these videos aren't going to be as high as using just the text prompt. You can see for some of these, the contrast is extra high in it. But it will do a decent job of mapping our character into the scene. Right now in Google VEO 3, there's no way to generate dialogue for the character when you're using a reference image. So these shots won't include the character speaking. Tip number 13, using Veo 3 ingredients to create a consistent character. This is going to be the third way of creating a consistent character. So below frames to video, we have ingredients to video. Underneath here, we can upload a bunch of different images that we want to combine into the same video. So, for example, I can upload an image of my character. This time I'm using a white background. Let's upload a different character also. How about this orc? And I also upload an image for the landscape I want them to be walking on. And let's say the female warrior walks next to the orc on the rocky landscape. Then if we go and generate this video, you'll see at the top it says switching you to a compatible model for this feature. That's because this ingredients to video feature only works with the older version of Google VEO 2. It won't technically work with the newest Google VEO 3 model. But let's try it anyways. So the results don't necessarily look amazing. It looks like at the end, it kind of swaps to a different scene of the female character walking by herself. So this isn't necessarily the best way to get a consistent character either. And it's also using the older Google VEO 2 model, so you don't get all the benefits like the AI generated sounds that go along with your video. So what's actually the best way to get videos of a consistent character that look the same from scene to scene? Well, the way to do this is to use image to video, where we create the images of our consistent character first and then animate them into a video, which is tip number 14. So I'll start with this picture of our female character again. And what I'll do is upload that image into the Flux Context Image Generator. There she is. And now all I'll need to do is to directly tell the AI chatbot how to create a new image of this consistent character. So inside the chat box, I'll tell the AI image generator, create an image of this female character in a medieval town. Her appearance should stay the same. Cinematic film shot on a Sony camera. And it does a great job of putting out consistent character into a new image. Let's do a before and after comparison. Now the shading in that photo is a little darker, which is kind of what I wanted anyways for a more cinematic type of image. But let's see how close the physical appearance is, starting with the hair and the face area. The braids that she's got over her back and over her shoulder are copied into the image. Her face also looks pretty much the same. If we go down and look through her accessories and clothing, her belt, the trousers that she's wearing, the cloak, the sword, everything matches up. I also create a couple more images of this character. I'll tell the chatbot, create a close-up shot on this female character's face in the same scene. I mean, in the original image, you can't really see the face of the character that clearly, so the AI had to use its imagination a little bit more to fill in what's missing. But now that we have these images generated, we can turn them into AI videos. Back inside Google VEO 3, make sure you have frames to video selected, which will let us put in a reference image of our character. There's one of her full body shot. And in the prompt, I'll just tell her to walk forward and raise her sword. I generated a couple more shots of this character. We can see her looking around the empty town. Now, as a bonus tip, you can also use frame interpolation. What that means is we can upload the first frame we want. So, for example, this close-up shot of the woman's face. And let's also upload a last frame for the generated video, this time a bird's eye view shot of her. And then in the prompt, if we put in something like the camera pose back, what the video generator will do is generate a video that starts with the first frame of a character and ends with this last image frame that we put into here. This is a really great way to control the camera movement in your scenes. Now, the main issue with this, again, is that technically this feature only works with the older Google VEO 2 model, so it won't be able to generate any sound effects or anything like that. Now, if you want to try out the Flux Context model to create the images of the consistent character for yourself, the way I'm doing it is using this image platform called OpenArt. Starting from the OpenArt homepage, go to Create Image. From there, you'll see this Chat to Edit feature. Click on that. And then inside we have the option to use a bunch of different image generators. The new Flux Context Max model is what I used. I'll put the links in the description if you want to go try it out. Tip number 15, adding lip sync to your characters to generate dialogue. The main limitation of using this method to create a consistent character is that when you're using a reference image in Google VEO 3, it can't actually generate character dialogue for you. So if we actually want our character to be speaking, we'll have to use an external AA app to make that happen. There's some different websites where you can do this from. One place that I like to use for lip syncing videos is a website called Design. Inside there, they have this lip sync. If you try this, we can upload an image of our character. I've uploaded this video of the female character that we generated in VEO 3. And now let's adding a voice. So I'll upload my own audio file since I already generated that. All right, let's see what it comes up with. It's finished generating, so let's take a look.
We call them monsters. But when I looked into the eyes of the last one I slayed, I saw sorrow.
Okay, so obviously this is not the ideal solution. It would be much better if we could just directly do this inside VEO 3, but for now, this is a workaround we can use. Tip number 16, creating videos of consistent objects or products inside Google VEO 3. Just like how we generated the images of a consistent character first, we can also generate images of a consistent product or an object or a location. Again, I'm using the Flux Context AI Image Generator, and I want to generate more images of this specific product. I can simply go and tell the AI, create a side profile photo of a young Canadian man wearing the blue headphones. The gold patterns on the headphones should remain the same on a street in Montreal, shot on a Sony camera. And the AI bot's able to put the exact headphones onto a model for us. Do a quick inspection. The gold and blue colors look the same, but I want to look a little bit closer at how refined the details are. So this main logo looks very, very, very similar. These little blotches of gold, these mini patterns that go across the headphones also look the same. And when we have the images of our consistent product, we can simply animate that into a video inside Google VEO 3. Tip number 17, creating fight scenes. Google VEO 3 is incredible at animating live character animations, and it's gotten pretty good at creating fight scenes also. It's as easy as putting the words Kung Fu fight scene inside your prompt, for example. A lot of these videos start off kind of slow, but as the video goes on, you can see it turns into a much more dynamic action scene. Here's a lightsaber duel I created that has the same thing going on. In the beginning, it starts off kind of slow and then turns into a very, very dynamic action scene. Again, if you want to try to put a specific character inside the fight scenes, in the prompt, describe the exact appearance of that character. For here, I described the appearance of the female warrior that I showed earlier. And then in the prompt, I describe what the rest of the fight scene should look like. The movements aren't going to be exact, but the fight scenes have come a really, really long way. Tip number 18, using fast mode. There's a new fast mode we can use inside VEO 3. Right here, that says fast text to video. Now, this only works with the text prompts. It's only 1/5 of the cost as using a regular high quality model. So I animated some fight scenes using this fast mode model. The motions aren't quite as dynamic as using a regular model, but the quality is still really, really high compared to other AI video generators. The arms and legs and anatomy of the character stay pretty consistent, even when they roll around. But one limitation of fast mode is that you can't generate character dialogue. While it's much, much cheaper and faster, and definitely worth using, For the higher quality shots that you want, you'll still need to use a regular high quality model. Tip number 19, adding camera shots and camera angles to your prompts to get the most cinematic looking videos. Change up the camera shot you're looking at the character from. For example, we can look at a close-up shot of the character which focuses in on his face.
We were a proud people, but under Roman rule our traditions are mocked, our resources plundered. This life is unbearable.
We can take the full body shot that'll show the entire body of the character. Generate a video of the character from a different camera direction, like in a side profile shot.
Queen Cleopatra, a ruler of unmatched intellect and charisma, who captivated the hearts of many.
And we can pull the camera all the way back for an extreme long shot. Use all these different camera shots to upgrade your storytelling. Also, think about the camera angle that we look at the character from. For example, if we use a low angle shot where we're placed below the character and looking up, it makes him look bigger, stronger, more powerful. If we use a high angle shot where we're looking down at the character, it makes him look smaller, weaker. We can also go all the way above them to a bird's eye view overhead shot. In this case, we get a more objective look over the entire environment. I'm sure you've noticed for a lot of the videos I just showed, it kind of looks like a 3D video game cinematic instead of the lifelike photorealistic characters that I showed earlier. The video game style does happen quite a bit using Google VEO 3, especially if you try to generate more fantasy style characters like this Egyptian warrior. Tip number 19 is to use the specific keywords muted colors cinematic film. So here I generated some more videos of that same exact character, except I added in the phrase muted colors and cinematic film, and you'll see that his face turns into a photorealistic looking person.
Life under Roman rule is unbearable. They impose harsh taxes and disrespect our traditions. We must reclaim our freedom.
So this prompt does work in most cases. However, you are going to run into some situations where the character's just generated into a video game style, pretty much no matter what. So in those cases, I suggest you just change your prompt and try to create something else. Tip number 21, introduce camera motions into your prompts. Camera motions help you tell a much more dynamic story. In this video, I told the camera to tilt up from the female character to reveal an eagle flying in the sky. Here's an example where I told the camera to pan from the female character and show an abandoned monastery far in the distance. By adding camera motions, we can relate our character to the environment around them. In this scene, I told the female character to cut down the knight and for the camera to zoom in on her face during the battle. It actually looks like it swaps in between, so it starts with the two of them fighting, and then it swaps directly to her face. This can happen if you try to introduce a lot of camera motion into your videos. Tip number 22, combine different camera shots, camera angles, and camera movements together for the most action-packed videos. In this case, I started with a close-up shot on the character's face, and then I told the camera to pull back to reveal her riding on a horse. Here's another example that combines a bunch of different movements together. I asked for a slow crane shot behind the female character, walking up the steps of an ancient castle, then the camera flies above and slowly tilts down to reveal the entire castle. By starting with a shot of the character and then zooming out to reveal the entire castle, we're able to demonstrate the scale of the landscape and environment compared to how small that the character is. Tip number 23, change the camera lens or the device that you're recording the video from. For example, a fisheye lens, that's an extra wide angle camera that's going to create these distorted spherical effects. Switch up the exact type of camera that you're using depending on the visual aesthetic that you want for the video. If you use macro lens, that's great for extreme close-up shots, especially of very, very small subjects with fine details. We can also prompt for an infrared camera as well. Tip number 24, you can create a first-person point of view short film using Google VEO 3. All we need to do is add the words first-person POV shot to our prompts. In this case, I'm going to show a point of view of a character running through a trench in World War I. This is a really unique way for storytelling using a video. It's a very, very immersive film style that puts the viewer directly in the character's shoes. You can taste how bland these beings are when looking at this video. But let's go to some happier times before the war. Tip number 25, change up the movie genre that you use in your prompts to completely change the style of the videos. Here I created a group of friends sitting around a table inside a horror movie. Now, I'm not sure why this looks like a Harry Potter movie because those weren't horror movies, but if we compare this shot to the same exact scene generated for a comedy movie, it's a completely different vibe. The lighting and colors are much more lighthearted than the comedy. Here's what it looks like when I generated the same scene inside a sci-fi movie. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe they're playing some futuristic game. Changing up the movie genre is a great way to switch up the visual style and also the colors that we see inside the video. Tip number 26, you can create the AI videos with different animation styles. So here's a video of the robot scavenging through a crash landing in the normal cinematic video style. But we can also generate that same exact video using the 3D Pixar style, for example. This one has a cute looking robot, typical of a Pixar movie. Now, when it comes to creating different animation styles, for example, in an anime scene, make sure you put the animation style you want at the start of the prompt. This one, I specifically told it to create a 2D anime, and I put that keyword at the beginning of the prompt. So Google VEO 3 does weigh the style keywords you used at the beginning of the prompt more heavily than the ones you use towards the end of the prompt. So if you want a specific style, try to put that more towards the start of the prompt. Tip number 27, use different lighting styles and also color palettes in your videos. Lighting can make a huge difference whether you're using soft sunlight beaming through the trees or if we have harsher moonlight casting down on our characters in the middle of the night. Adding different light sources, for example, we can have light shining on him from a fire. Now, the color grading of the video can also make a big difference in the way that the videos look. You can use cool blue color tones, and it creates a much more cold and dreary feeling video. Try using warmer colors for something that feels a little softer and more approachable. I personally love using desaturated colors, which you're seeing in movies like Saving Private Ryan, and it gives a more gritty type of feeling to the film. Monochromatic color schemes where you only use one color shade, like green, are also popular. This green color gives off an uneasy and unnatural feeling to the viewer. But we can go with something that's much more colorful, for example, light pastel color tones that have soft pinks and soft blues. Tip number 28, making infinite looping videos. So inside the app itself, there isn't actually a way to create an infinite looping video. But let's say I want to take this video I have of a jellyfish in this plastic injection machine, which I actually found using FlowTV, and I want to create an infinite looping video of this specific shot. Then we can put that video inside a video editor. Now let's copy that and paste it so we get two shots of that same exact video next to each other. And what we're going to do with a second shot is actually reverse it. So I'm using the CapCut video editor. This is what the reverse button looks like. And what it'll do is play the video clip backwards. So now that we've reversed the second video clip, when we put them next to each other, it's going to create an infinite loop. And we can stack as many of these video clips next to each other as we want for a long infinite looping video. Tip number 29, use the image generator inside Google VEO 3 to create previews for what your video looks like before generating them. If we go to the frames to video feature and we click on this add an image, we've been uploading the images ourselves so far, but it can actually generate an image also. So let's tell it to generate a photo of a panther in a jungle. Golden afternoon, light and shadows, green foliage shot on a Sony camera. And it'll generate a set of preview images for us. that we can pick and choose from. But some of them are a bit closer, some of them are taken from a bit farther back. We also see a few different camera angles, slightly different color palettes. The point is, if you use this feature, it'll give you an idea of what your video is going to look like before you generate it. And now we can go ahead and use this image to turn it into a video. He quietly stalks in the forest. Let's create that. Using a reference image first gives us a little more control over what the final video looks like. Tip number 30, creating longer videos inside Veo 3. So inside Veo 3, we can use this add to seeing feature. And inside here, we do have the option to extend the video. So let's say the totems lapse onto the ground and break apart. Now, if we try to generate that, you'll see this error again that says switching you to a compatible model for this feature. Unfortunately, this feature also only works for the older Google VEO 2 model. But let's see what happens if we generate this. Okay, so if we look at the extended video, it does kind of follow my prompt. The totems in the distance break apart a little bit and collapse. The problem is that it is the older Veo 2 model, so the quality won't be as good. And also, it's not able to generate any sound effects. So that means you'll need to adding the sound effects by yourself later on. If you want a deep dive into how to best use Google VEO 3 to create the most cinematic looking AI films, go watch this tutorial right here.